What's going on, everybody? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. Take these off. Thank you for joining me tonight. Got a lot of stuff going on. The NFL is the gift that keeps on giving, except now it's just not giving it to so many people. We are down to the final four, and we are where we are supposed to be. This is the first time in a good bit, if you go back and you kind of look at the way the playoffs went in the past, this is the first time where all four teams, these are the strongest four teams in the Final Four. Nobody slipped through. We didn't have a team where somebody got hurt, and because the prime player was out, they lost the game. We didn't have any of that. Everybody played, with the exception of maybe a Cincinnati because they had all those offensive linemen hurt, but they still went to Buffalo and handled their business. So, everybody talked a lot of smack about what the Eagles were going to do with the Giants, how the Giants were coming on at the end of the year in the last 5 games. I even saw a thing that said the last 5 games, Daniel Jones has played perfect. I think one of the guys one of the guys, Max Kellerman, I think it was, that said that on one of them ESPN shows in the morning. I was like, come on, man. Come on. But that's one of the things we're going to get into, man. We're going to talk about the disrespect that has been coming our way. Nothing new, but you still hate to see it. Why people still doubting us? Why are people still doubting us? But we're going to get into all of that, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Glad you're joining me. Everybody smash that like button. And I see my dad. My dad was number 1 out the limo at like 6:30. I appreciate you, Pop. TK, he's in the building. Vince is in the building. We got 3 people out the limo. Let's see anybody else in that chat. Rob Povia, what's going on? Rob's number 4 out the limo. I appreciate you, brother. And what's going on is what's up is we getting ready to play to go to the Super Bowl. Win and you are in. That's what it's all about, man. And if you think back all the way to preseason and all of that, man, nobody, and I mean nobody, nobody saw this for Jalen Hurts. Nobody saw this for Jalen Hurts. Jake Friel, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you, number 5 out the limo. And as always, my first 5 out the limo are brought to you by FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. Daily NFL contests and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points of $50 value. FanUp.app. And there you have it. But I appreciate everybody joining me. And Jake said, that's about the poll. 49ers had trouble with the Seahawks and the Cowboys' number 1 wide receiver. Absolutely. And we got 3 number 1s. I consider Goddard as a 1.5. So he's still in the ones because in my opinion, Goddard is just as good as Kittle's when you get him the ball. Just as good as Kittle made that, circus catch last week, and Goddard makes the one-handed touchdown on our end. So we match up quite well when it comes to that. Rob, you think he's going to do more with his legs? I think he's going to do more in the air because the San Francisco 49ers, their linebackers are pretty fast across the board. So they're going to be on top of that. We're going to have our opportunities, but I think we'd be better served just handing the ball off. And I believe this is going to be a game where we really need to run play action with Jalen Hurts under center. We really need to do that. He needs to be under center a lot just so we can get those linebackers moving because they got some good speed. Yeah, Jake, you absolutely right, bro. You're absolutely right. I was watching today. I was watching San Francisco versus Las Vegas. Now, that was when I believe that was week 17. Derek Carr had already been set down, and that other kid, number 3, was starting. I wouldn't call him a mobile quarterback, but listen, Las Vegas put 34 up on that defense. And the one thing I did see, this goes back to the Dallas Goedert thing. I forget what his name is. The tight end for Las Vegas burned the San Francisco safety, ran past him, the tight end. So that makes me raise the eyebrow a little bit, because that's something that we need to look into, because that tight end is definitely not better than Dallas Goedert, and he couldn't run with him. Now, I don't know if the kid was hurt or whatever the situation. I don't think he was, but that when a tight end runs by you, that's saying something. And it was a scoring play when he ended up scoring on it, about I want to say like a 30-yard touchdown. But if you even, you're leaving, and that tight end left him. And it wasn't like a contested throw. It was he had about a 2 to 3 yard gap, and the quarterback put it where it needed to be, touchdown, and he knew he was beat. So that is something. They are uber aggressive. Them boys come up and they will lay a hat on you. But you can pull the Aikido move and use that aggressive nature, use it against them. Definitely use it against them. They don't want to play man-to-man. They're going to lose that battle. They've got decent cornerbacks. We've got great receivers. So we should win that battle. The battle is going to be in the trenches up front. Definitely going to be in the trenches up front. So we'll see what happens, man. And when you look at the playoffs going down, we got, the Bengals, what they did to Buffalo. And you know what? I think I said this, what was it, 2 weeks ago when Buffalo played the Patriots. This was, I believe, the week after the whole Damar Hamlin thing. They should have lost that game. If it wasn't for the 2 kickoff returns from Buffalo, they lose that game. How many times does 2 kickoff returns happen in a game? Your special teams fail like that. No, you don't expect that. So you take those 2 breakdowns on special teams, and the Patriots beat them. And then when they played Miami kept it close. Miami made it a game, and you was expecting Josh Allen to just run away with stuff, and it wasn't happening. He was throwing the ball away, turning the ball over, and he looked mortal. Everybody wanted to already anoint him as, like it was just going to be Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. They're going to be in the Super Bowl for the next umpteen years or whatever. Now, Patrick Mahomes, you can't say nothing about him. He the MVP in my book. And I've said this before, and you guys have heard me say this before. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of this league if Patrick Mahomes didn't exist. The stuff Patrick Mahomes is doing this year is off the charts. The numbers he's putting up, off the charts. So you can't really say much about that. But we've been dealing a lot with this Philly bias, and it is just hilarious, man. I just saw the thing with what's his name? Bart Scott, the guy at the top right. He used to be a linebacker for the Jets. And it was like, he said some stuff about Jalen Hurts about 2 weeks ago, and it was like, where is this coming from? But his take is just all jacked up. And it's just when somebody, it really gives you pause. And when you really listen to them, you can very easily tell who watches tapes and who watches highlights. It's very easy to tell. Chris Sims done had a axe to grind with the Eagles for I don't know how long. He just doesn't like Jalen Hurts for whatever reason. He is very begrudgingly giving him his props, but you can tell he does not want to do it. And it's like, where is this coming from? What's up, Frank? Let's get this dub, bro. I'm with you. But I don't know where this bias comes from. And the thing with Cowherd, like I remember Cowherd last year was killing Jalen Hurts. And what they do, what all of these media heads do, is whether they for or against. In this situation, most of these people are against, right? Hurts haters, as we like to say. But every now and then, they will have some 10-second blurb about what he does well. So when everybody's eating crow and we're playing to get into the Super Bowl, everybody wants to go back, even though 99% of the stuff has been negative, hating on Jalen Hurts, throwing shade his way. They find that 1 10-second clip so they can say, well, I said way back in that he had potential, and then they want to bring up the positive so they don't look stupid. So, but it's been crazy this week, man. The disrespect has just been disrespectful. It's been straight wrong, and it's a national media thing, and it's not just with the Eagles. It just seems like the Eagles, teams want to pile on the Eagles. But it's been everybody. I know we playing the 49ers, but look at the narrative from the national media, at least in my opinion. When the 49ers beat the Cowboys, the narrative was the Cowboys lost the game. Dak Prescott did not play well, and the Cowboys blew it. I didn't hear one thing saying how the 49ers just beat them up. I didn't hear one thing about that. I didn't hear one thing about the 49ers defense just really giving Dak Prescott trouble. I have yet to hear that. So I don't understand, where this stuff comes from, but it seems like nobody wants to give us our props. Hey, what's going on, twin? Nobody wants to give us our props. Nobody. And again, you listen to what people say. Really listen to what they say, and you can tell who watches film and who doesn't. There's some guys at ESPN that really watch film. I like what Acho does when he breaks down film. Of course, my dude Baldy, teammates when I was with the Eagles, Baldy is a film nut. You've heard me talk about JT O'Sullivan, his channel on YouTube. They break down film. They tell you the whys and the why nots. They ask the questions. Why did he throw that ball? Why didn't he throw that ball? They break down tape. Everybody else is just going off of highlights. But the disrespect to us this year has just been off the damn charts. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. Everybody's talking about the last time we played San Francisco, they were a different team. I know they were a different team. So are we. Everybody's talking about what San Francisco's doing different, what San Francisco's doing better. And it's like, what, have we been on the treadmill the whole time and just spinning our wheels and not going anywhere? You gonna act like we not bringing 70 plus sacks to this ball game? But all you can talk about is what the 49ers, okay. Y'all keep going at that. Y'all want to keep throwing us as the underdog? We'll keep taking it. We'll keep taking it. We got 4 or 5 guys with 10 plus sacks on our team. And we got one guy that should be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, which brings me to my next point. How they just omitting us for all of these postseasons award. We already know we ain't going to win everything, but daggone, man. How you not going to have Brandon Graham as the comeback player of the year? Everybody listed as a finalist as comeback player of the year played last year. Brandon Graham got hurt in week 2. Tore his Achilles. Popped his Achilles in week 2. So the fact that he comes back from a popped Achilles, did not play last year, comes back and he's got 11 sacks. For the first time in his career, he's got 11 sacks. So this is statistically This is one of the best years he's had in his career, and he's 34. But he's not a comeback player of the year? Stop playing with me. Y'all not paying attention, or you ignoring him on purpose. Did it really piss y'all off that bad? Because we had so many people going to the Pro Bowl. That's what happens when your defense is balling. That's what happens when you got an MVP quarterback that you don't want to give props to. That's what happens. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Vince, I know nobody's ever made it to the Super Bowl, especially a rookie, but guess what? I'm not going off those historic stats. I'm going off of the team that's going to step on the field. And as far as I'm concerned, Brock Purdy's been balling. Now, I will say this. Dallas showed the blueprint. Dallas gave us a blueprint how to get to Brock Purdy. But it ain't nothing different than the same thing we say every week playing against, it doesn't matter what quarterback it is. If you can get your edges to them, if we can get Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, if we can get pressure on him and cause him to step up, that causes problem. Dallas had him on the run. Dallas defense balled out. They offense sucked. Dallas defense played well enough to win. They had Brock Purdy on the run all game, couldn't get comfortable. They disrupted his throwing lanes, his line of sight. That's how you attack him. Dallas showed us the blueprint. Now, I trust that Jonathan Gannon's going to dial it up because it's all or nothing, man. You open up that playbook wide open. Do what you got to do. You may, if you saw my some of my social media stuff, I was pulling like, yo, let's get Nakobe Dean involved. We need his quickness. Nakobe Dean can cover Kittles. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I know Kaiser White has been exploited in some situations, specifically on his coverage. So just like we have packages for everybody else, we can have packages with Nakobe Dean because every time Nakobe Dean's been in the game, he's made things happen. And he might not necessarily be faster, but he is quicker than Kaiser White. And we need that quickness, especially if he's going to have to cover CMC or Debo or Kittles. So something to look for, something to look out for. So, Blue Flame, what you hear? Possible snow on Sunday? Interesting. I wouldn't mind that. We used to the cold. They're not. That always works in our favor with West Coast teams. So bring it. Just temper it. I don't want none of that Buffalo nonsense, but so we'll see what's gonna happen. Is it safe to say Hurts is the GOAT now? Nah. As much as a cheerleader I am for Hurts, I keep it reasonable. I keep it real. Keep it 100. He's not there yet. But he's getting there. And what I expect from him next year is for his passing game to be even better. Because now, very similar. I made this analogy months ago. Very similar. When Donovan McNabb came back, I want to say it was his maybe third or fourth year. Donovan McNabb reported to camp, and he had bulked up. Like, it was very, very obvious that he had been in the weight room, and he bulked up. And I remember him saying is because he wanted to be more of a pocket quarterback, and he bulked up to take the punishment. The byproduct of was the first half of the year, all his balls were ankle high. He was muscling the balls, and all his balls kept coming out low. He finally got in rhythm and finally got used to his body, and he started putting the ball where it needed to be. But I believe Jalen Hurts is going to make that same step. He came back yoked this year. And I think he's going to have the same progression going into next year. But again, Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming from Jalen Hurts. And I've always pulled for Jalen Hurts. And I've said I wanted Jalen to be good. I needed him to be good, not great. And he has surpassed every expectation, every one. Throwing the ball, running the ball. Now he's running smart. We always knew he could run, but now he's running smart. Getting out of bounds, getting down, trying not to take that hit. When he got hurt in Chicago, I put that blame squarely on Sirianni because he shouldn't have been running the ball that much in damn 20-degree weather. That was stupid. So we've got a situation where we got the best four. It's going to be a title bout, a slugfest Sunday night, Sunday afternoon. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Another guy that was disrespected, Hassan Reddick. How you not going to even be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year? You got to be in the conversation. You were number 2 in sacks. You had better stats than Micah Parsons. Now, and I will say, Micah Parsons should definitely be on the list. Chucks, what's going on, brother? Micah Parsons should definitely be on the list. He should be in the conversation. My vote would go to Chris Jones, but it'll either be Jones or Bosa. I can't get mad at Bosa. 18 and a half sacks with 51 combined tackles. Chris Jones, 44-14 and 15 and a half. Hassan Reddick, 49 combined, 14 assists, 16 sacks. Parsons got 65 tackles, so he got more tackles, but he's got 13 and a half sacks, and the last couple weeks of his play kind of declined a little bit. So, yes, should Micah Parsons be on the list? But damn sure Hassan Reddick should be there, man. He should be there. I don't understand why they got to keep it to 3 anyways. That doesn't make sense to me. You should have at least 5 people on that list. There should be 5 people on that list at least. But just another, y'all want to keep disrespecting him. He's doing stuff that no other player's done before. You know what? Let him keep doing that. And let him keep doing that in green. So it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, Chris Jones got my vote. Chris Jones has been balling this year. He would get my vote for defensive MVP. Bosa, not so much. Not that he don't deserve it, but that's just my personal choice. When you look at how they play and what kind of effect, you know what I say all the time. You don't have to make the play to make the play. And Chris Jones is somebody that opens up so many plays for everybody else on that defensive line. Not saying that Bosa doesn't. Same thing with Hassan Reddick. You concentrating on him and you forget Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham on the other side. Or sometimes Brandon Graham lines up at tackle and you got them both at the same side. So different things that you can do with different players, and regardless of what you do, you get results. You definitely get results. So, but the disrespect, man, I don't get it. I do not get it. Like I said, you're not going to win every award, but you at least got to be in the conversation, man. Make it make sense. Why is Nick Sirianni not a candidate for Coach of the Year? Again, I don't know. I like, you take anybody that had a decent record. You take Vrabel, you take any other coach, and you give them our record, they would be a candidate for Coach of the Year. Hands down. Hands down. For us to be in the situation we were in And what would have happened? And I will say this: the Eagles had a legitimate opportunity to go undefeated, and we blew it. We gave away that Washington game. We gave away 4 turnovers with the Cowboy game. The Saints game, if Jalen Hurts starts, we don't lose that game. Because of the situation we were in, going back to Chicago, that tripped us up a bit. But if Jalen Hurts stays healthy for the year, that is a legitimate shot to go undefeated, and I believe we could have done it. I don't get into glad we lost one and the tension was mounting and there's too much pressure. No, it's not too much pressure. In my opinion, it's not too much pressure because you do the same thing. It doesn't matter if you 14-0 or you 1-13. You still got to approach the game the same exact way. You got to win every play, to win every quarter, to win every game. So the way you go about your business shouldn't change. You come up against your next opponent, you watch film, you formulate a game plan of what's going to put your best players in the best situation where they can win the battle. That's what you do every week. Nothing changes. The amount of wins you have doesn't change. And with Jalen Hurts steering that ship, that's not the type of squad that's going to get overconfident. I even heard this. I was watching. I watch it and I listen to podcasts from San Francisco this week. See what the other side is thinking, right? And there's people in San Francisco that for some reason think the Eagles think that we're just so much better than everybody else and we're on our high horse, and that's how they're putting it out there. Like we just think we're just that in a bag of chips. And I'm like, if that's what you think, you're not paying attention. And you definitely don't know Philly, because you know that's not how we operate. We lunch pail, we blue collar. We put the work in. We get dirty. Y'all out in San Francisco with the shrimp platter and the sushi. Don't get it twisted. We work for everything. Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelsey, Brandon Graham, and Fletcher Cox. Everybody has been consistent trying to keep people focused on what they got to do. We are not the type of team to get too high on ourselves. So what we got to do now is put together a game plan. And this is where we're going to put Steichen on notice. We got to put Steichen on notice because you got them boys right there. That's a group for you. The linebackers can move. Those linebackers can lay hats on you. That don't mean we can't be effective running the ball. Bosa is susceptible to a mobile quarterback. Go back and watch the film. You can freeze them with the RPOs. Everybody has to make that decision. I see a lot of situations this weekend where it's going to be the pass, run, pass option, where he's going to give it up like we're running the ball, except he's going to take that step back and get the ball to a hot receiver because they like to play zone coverage a lot. They don't want to play man. They want to bracket you on both sides. D'Amico Ryans is a great coach, but he can be risky. And you just got to know how to exploit it. So there will be opportunities. And I'll say it again, because if it wasn't there, How did Las Vegas put 34 on them? 34. So there's opportunities to be had. Yeah, definitely. I was looking for he's in there. He's the one on the left. It just with the glare, you can't see his name. But yeah, that's Greenlaw on the left. Greenlaw is legit. Greenlaw and Warner, them boys come to play. But just like any other situation, if you got your formation and motion, you can put somebody out of position and get a mismatch to our advantage. Vegas is not a bad team. Point and shoot. I agree with you 100%. They just got a goofy coach. Wherever that dude goes, just craziness follows. If it was anybody else, he'd have been fired by now. But for some reason, they like him. For some reason, they like him. So, what'd you say, Maury? They got on film that 49ers Armstead and someone else holding linemen from getting. I mean, that happens on every play. That happens on every play. Hey, my cousin Tiny's in the building. How you doing, cuz? Tiny, you already know, and I've said this on my social media a lot. If Philadelphia and the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, I'm going to lose my shit. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a wreck. I bleed green, but I was born in the jungle. Y'all know. You already know. But we got some opportunities. And the one thing we must do this weekend, oh my goodness, we have to take care of and take advantage of every opportunity we get. On defense, we are going to have some opportunities. Brock Purdy has been very good in not turning over the ball, but we are going to have a couple opportunities for turnovers. We have got to take advantage of it. We can't have another game with 6 drop picks. We got to, if we get our hands on the ball as a defense, we got to get the ball. Like when we played Dallas, we had 2 sacks in a row and we got a strip sack but couldn't recover the ball. We got to get our hands on the ball every time we have that opportunity. We can't blow those. We got to have the worst hands for our secondary in the league. We've dropped so many picks this year. So we're going to have the advantage. And again, I don't understand why everybody thinks that the 49ers have all this, they've had all of this growth as a team. And they've made some things happen. And they've had 3 quarterbacks and all of that kind of stuff. And they're right. But so have we. At one point, our run defense was suspect. Now it's not. We had some growth we had to make too. We had some, there were some strides that we had to take because it was a little suspect. You know, I didn't forget week 1 against Detroit and how Detroit put up, 32 on us? And everybody had questions and all of that kind of stuff. So, Charles, do I think Maddox plays? That's a good one, man. I don't know. I would like it depends on. I'm waiting to hear the reports tomorrow. I didn't hear anything today about him. If he was at practice, like what did he look like in practice? Because I'm not interested in him coming out there just to say Maddox is on the field. I need him to perform. We got too much at stake. If he's not 100%, or if he can't operate at 85 like Lane Johnson is, I don't know if I want 75, 80% Avonte Maddox having to guard Brandon Ayuk. I'm just saying. But if he can play, let him play. But he got to be ready to bring it. I don't think that they would put him out there if he couldn't. And, I say this a lot. Listen, man, when you get a toe injury, people make fun of that. When you tell somebody you had turf toe, I used to always say I had turf toe like maybe twice in college. I had it once when I was with the Eagles, banging your foot on that hard behind veteran stadium turf. That was garbage. But I wish they would call it something else, because when you say you got turf toe or you got a toe injury, it's like they don't take you seriously. And man, that stuff hurts. That stuff hurts. So if he can get out there and play, let him play. But if you can't push out and open your hips and cover full speed, I don't want him out there. That's too much of a liability. Gardner Johnson's been playing well in the slot. Reed Blankenship has been playing fairly well. Marcus Epps has been solid all year. So, yeah, he might be trending in the right direction. But again, it's a lot on the line for if. So that's one of those things where let's just trust the process and hope that they make the right decision. If he's 100% and can go, let him go. Rip it and rip it, man. Yeah, he practiced today, Vince, but what did he do? I'm old school. Practice ain't what it used to be. Practice ain't what it used to be. So he got out there and he ran around. Did somebody test him? Did somebody get him to change direction? Just stuff like that. What's going to happen when somebody steps on his foot? That's going to happen. Who's saying Hurts is scared of anybody? And Hufanga is the safety I was talking about that got burned by Las Vegas, by a tight end. So everybody in that situation can get got. Don't get it twisted. The rules still apply. If you can set somebody up and get a favorable matchup due to your formation, your shift, or your motion, that's what you need to do. And Hufanga, you are absolutely correct. Hufanga brings the noise. He is Palomalu 2.0. That's what I call him. However, he is not the fastest dude on that field. And if you can get a favorable matchup, Goddard, Miles Sanders can run right by him. They can run right by him. Las Vegas, I believe, had a tight set. The tight end was tight on the tackle, down in the 3-point. Hufanga came up. He was covering the tight end. And the tight end just went right past him. I think it was like a 30, 35-yard touchdown. But the thing was, the pass was not contested. He was wide open. He was wide ass open. Good throw by the quarterback, never contested. He was just straight beat. Wasn't nothing he could do. So we can take advantage of that. When you got a defense that's very aggressive like that, you can take advantage of it. Blue Flame, I don't know. That goes back into the disrespect thing I was talking about earlier. I don't know why people just think the Eagles defense has been sitting in a vacuum and just, like in stasis. They didn't get worse. They didn't get better. They just stagnant. I don't understand what people are watching. I guess because the 49ers are a little bit flashier, and I don't know. I guess they want the Brock Purdy story to work. And they don't want Jalen Hurts they don't want that. If Brock Purdy had Jalen Hurts stats, I said this last year, even when all of the valid criticism of Jalen Hurts was at its peak, He couldn't read defenses. His arm was mediocre at best, all of that kind of stuff. But last year, if you could take Jalen Hurts' stats for the season and give them to Trevor Lawrence would have went to the Pro Bowl first ballot. But because it was Jalen Hurts, you don't want to give him his props. You don't want to give him his props. Jalen Hurts is 78.1 in the playoffs, and you going from last year, but you can't. That's when stats get you in trouble. That right there is when stats can get you in trouble. Because by that logic, you're going to base your whole game plan on what he did last year against Tampa Bay. Y'all do that if you want to. You apply that logic if you want to. If you think it's the same quarterback that played last year at Tampa Bay, all right, you go ahead. You know, the more you ever around, the more you're going to find out. Y'all keep on, go ahead and do that. I hope they do that. I hope San Francisco looks at that tape last year and is like, oh, we can do something. You go ahead. Not the same dude. Not the same guy. Not by a long shot. Do I think it's a plus for a coach knowing how he plays and prepares for the game? I don't understand that question. You don't look at you can't really say how somebody plays because it's a lot more complicated than that. You're looking at a team. You're not really looking at an individual. Now you can find tendencies and stuff like that. What's up, Don Don? You can find tendencies and things of that nature. Looking at tape, reading his signals, things like that. But it's usually a team. You're looking for sets and things that'll clue you in on what they're trying to run. So that's what you're looking tape for. Knowing how somebody prepares and stuff like that. Not really going to help. So we'll see. Tom Arnone, what's going on, bro? Listen, if you still think Hurts' shoulder is messed up, okay. You ain't been paying attention. You haven't been paying attention. Did I watch last week's game against the Giants? Absolutely. Or are you talking to Sean? I don't know. But in any case, we got to get this dude involved in the game plan this week. Dallas Goedert, in my opinion, is just as good, if not better than Kittle's. And you can't tell me he's not. Don, I'm with you, man, but I don't think it's Brandon Graham. I think it's Josh Sweat this week. I think Brandon's going to get home, but I think Josh Sweat is going to have the day because everybody's going to be worried about Hassan. But this dude right here, that's your key right there. Because can't nobody stop him. He's a big target. He's fast. His yards after catch this year has got to be tops in the league. I've never looked that up this year, but his yak has got to be up there. Him specifically has been pretty impressive. Well, yeah, he probably wouldn't be because when he sat out 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it was. But he's one of those guys that as soon as he gets his hands on the ball, he's going to make some stuff happen. So it's going to be a slugfest, man. This is a title bout. I think that the Bengals are going to upset Kansas City because Kansas City got a problem. because Patrick Mahomes can't move, which means he's got to stay in the pocket. Now, he's going to do some things, but I think Cincinnati would be stupid not to game plan that. Force him out of the pocket. Force him out of the pocket. So he's going to have to make a mistake because it's what he has, a high ankle sprain. Oh, my God. As a running back, I know what that feels like. That is bad business, especially when you got a plant on that back foot. It is horrible. You saw last week he tried to throw that little screen pass, couldn't even throw the ball 10, 15 yards. He's trying to hit his running back maybe 10 yards away, right into the dirt. He has no power on his back leg. They're going to shoot it up and do the best he can, but the first time he takes a hit, you right back to square one. You right back to square one. And the thing that's dangerous about shooting up an ankle is that is a situation, unlike how Lane Johnson is with the adduct is growing. They already told him it can't get any worse. Patrick Mahomes, somebody fall on that ankle, that's a wrap, bro. That's a wrap. You might be sitting out well into next season because that is no joke, and it is painful. Very painful. Sean, I like the way you think, bro. I think the Eagles are going to force Brock Purdy into a turnover where he throws a pick. Yes, I'm hoping for a forced fumble because that just seems to be our MO with our defensive line. It's going to be Hassan, it's going to be Sweat, or it's going to be BG. Somebody's going to do it. I want to see Bradbury. I want to see Slay come wake up. That's what I want to see. I want to see Slay wake up. I want to see big play Slay make a big play. He's been holding out on us. It's about time. It's about time. So we got some things that we can do, man. And now's the time to do it. And listening to this game would have to be very, very difficult to call. And the picks and like some of the reasons I'm hearing, I heard Steve Smith pick the 49ers, and his logic was because the 49ers and Brock Purdy are playing with house money, and the house always wins. But that means whatever money you playing with, you're going to lose. So I didn't really understand that. I understand what he was trying to say. It just came out wrong. Yeah, playing with the house money thing, I don't buy that. The pressure is on who? The pressure is on Jalen Hurts because he's been a better player this year, and we've had the better team. At the end of the day, you still playing for the same thing. So wasn't nobody saying that the 49ers were the best team? So how is it that all of a sudden they're playing with house money? I don't get that. So you want to disrespect us, but they're playing with the house money. Make up your mind. We can both be good. You live in San Fran talking all. Listen, I told you, I was listening to podcasts from San Francisco. There is, I don't know what they listen to out there. Well, I know what they listen to. They watch ESPN like everybody else does. And they getting a false sense of what's really going on. Realistically, y'all might have the defensive player of the year. So do we. So do we. And does your defensive tackle have 10 sacks? And your other defensive tackle have 10 sacks? And your other defensive tackle have 8 sacks? Add it up. So where on the line are we deficient? But I can go through your offensive line and go back and look at some games. And yeah, there's some chinks in the armor and some things going to be suspect. I don't know what they thinking about out in San Francisco, man. I appreciate you, Dominic. because we going to come out ready to play. I've said this before, and I'm saying it again. When you got somebody like Jalen Hurts steering the ship, you know everybody's going in the right direction. And you already know. I didn't think about this until this morning because I heard it about 4 times today. Stop bringing up the game between Iowa State and Oklahoma in college. Like that matters now. That does not matter. So if that's the only thing you got holding on to, again, that's disrespectful to Jalen Hurts. So to elevate Brock Purdy, you going to say, hey, he played a great game against Jalen Hurts in college. So what? That has zero to do with what's going on right now. Because you know what? Y'all go ahead and you play with that logic if you want to, because it don't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And you look at now, the one thing we have been, because Amari, you talking about big man in the middle, Jordan Davis, but he'll come into play, and our defensive line is going to come into play, because how are we going to slow down Debo and CMC? They're going to get the most of their yards from the passing game, probably. Because every time we come up against a top running back, we've pretty much held our own. We've pretty much held our own. So we got some things we got to do, and we're going to take care of our business. And Brock Purdy, I don't stop with the Iowa State stuff. Brock Purdy has never been to Philly. He has never been to Philly. So he has no idea what to expect. None. Somebody had the nerve to say they've never heard. I think it was Debo that said they never heard. They must not have ever heard San Francisco's crowd. And I was like, are you kidding me? You go to some of them stadiums on the West Coast and you can hear a pin drop because everybody's nice and polite and all of that kind of stuff. Man, you coming to Philly, bro. You about to catch hell. You think it's going to be all nice if you want to. And I know they know better than that, because I guarantee you somebody in that locker room that's been to Philly before. So he's going to school them. He's definitely going to school them. But you ain't ever been to Philly, bro. This is your first experience. That comes into play. A hostile environment. That will come into play. Yeah, man. Dallas did. Dallas, like I said, Dallas shut them down, man. Dallas' defense came to play. Dak was the one that was stinking up the field. And Dallas, like I said at the beginning of the show, man, Dallas showed us the blueprint. Dominic said it's a wine and cheese. Yeah, it's a wine and cheese. We beer and cheese steaks up here, man. We don't play. We don't play. You might get you some crab fries to go with it. It's a different mindset up here in Philly, bro. Them people better get ready, and we might get some weather to our favor. West Coast teams don't play well in the snow. So we'll see what happens. Here's another matchup we need to look at. I want to see what the big man's going to do with Bosa. Now, granted, Mailata's had a little trouble with those smaller, faster guys, but Bosa is long. Bosa is what, 6'5"? And Mailata's what, 6'6"? So the height is pretty good. So it's going to be hard for Bosa to get that low on Mailata. Mailata should be able to get some hands on. And I know he's going to switch sides. I'm not worried about Lane Johnson's side. But Mailata's had a little bit of trouble in the past, so he's got to be able to hold his own. So he better been taking some extra courses at Stoutland University this week, because this is what it's all about. So that's going to be a very important matchup. Very important matchup. But at the end of the day, it's all on this dude right here. It's all on QB1, man. It's all on QB1. And the good thing about that is he's the one I'm not worried about. He's the one I'm not worried about. I think he's going to have limited success running the ball. I think he's going to throw the ball all over the place. I'm expecting Miles Sanders. Our rushing game will probably be right at 100. But I'm looking for Jalen Hurts to throw the ball all over the place. I'm looking for Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown to go off, especially A.J. Brown, because you know he hot from that last performance because he only had like 22 yards. I think that if he would have been able to catch that long pass from Jalen, that would have been a touchdown and he would have felt a little bit better. But he's looking to make his presence known in the playoffs, because that's one thing as a primetime player in this league, to be considered an elite level player, to be able to take that next step up, you got to be able to perform in the playoffs. And this is it. This is it. Right off the bat. Freshly traded. Your team, we knocked off your team, your old team anyways. They didn't make it this far. So here you are with an opportunity to do what you couldn't do at your old squad. I saw the interview today. I don't know what podcast it was on. It was some Philly-based podcast, but Derrick Henry was on there talking about how upset he was when he found out AJ got traded. Didn't nobody expect that. But great for us. And we've reaped the benefits of that relationship. That stuff matters, man. Charles, I hope you're right, bro. I hope you're right. What I really want to see is us be able to establish the run. And I'm saying that we should be right at 100 yards because I'm giving the 49ers defense the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving them their props because I know they're a good defense. So if we can get at or close to 100 yards rushing, I think we've done something. Maybe Gainwell or Miles Sanders takes one to the house and you know, we pop a couple, but we can still dominate that line of scrimmage. That is our domain until somebody proves that they can take it. And nobody's done that yet. Nobody. If we've given up the line of scrimmage, it's because our coaches didn't run the ball. So we've got to be aggressive. We got to stick with the run, and we got to put it down. We got to bring those linebackers up to clear that middle up. And we can bring those linebackers up in play action. Dallas Goedert's going to have a day. Goedert's going to have a day. The one time Dallas could have earned my respect, they choked. I tell you what, TV sales must have went through the roof because every daggone TikTok video, meme shows somebody from Dallas disrespecting the television, knocking it off the wall. I saw the one dude, he threw it down in his driveway, got in his truck and ran over it. And ain't none of that stuff got anything to do with how Dallas was playing. That was funny. That was funny. But we got some work to do, people. We got some work to do, and we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. I have no reason to believe that we will not. For all of the bitching and moaning that we've done about Gannon not bringing enough pressure and, you know, all the nitpicking, and the only thing he's done is hold most teams to under 20 points a game. I don't see any reason why we can't do that now. I don't see any reason why we can't establish the line of scrimmage and run the ball. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't impose our will on the 49ers. So that's a good question. I don't know. I think they're going to throw some wrinkles in the defense and they're going to go based on what they've watched on film. Let me say it like that. But it would be silly for our defense to be this successful and then we completely change up at the end. We're going to do what we do best. If Avonte Maddox is playing, that benefits us. I think their offensive line is not as good as our defensive line. I think we win that battle. I'll give them the plus on the linebackers, but you're not going to talk to me like TJ Edwards is just chopped liver. You're not going to talk to me like Kaiser White is not a baller. We got ballers on defense, too. The only thing I worry about is CMC and Debo. They put them in formations and motions where they can exploit our short to middle. And that's something that I've been harping on. That's just the way we play defense. We always give up that middle of the field, that short to middle. And I don't want CMC to get his hands on the ball and take one, much like the kid from Green Bay did. So we got some things we can shore up, but I think we'll get it done. I trust Gannon to get it done. He watched film just like everybody else, and he ain't stupid. You don't get to 14-3 with a horrible defense. Well, Minnesota, but so we're not Minnesota. We're not Minnesota. You work with a bunch of Cowboys fans. You know what? I was talking to somebody the other day, and it's like, when did the Cowboys get so popular? And what I think happened was, it was in the mid to late 70s, because Pittsburgh was winning everything. And the Cowboys came along and knocked off Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh, think of it like wrestling. Pittsburgh was the heel. Nobody really liked Bradshaw. Nobody really liked Joe Green. Excuse me. Pittsburgh was the bad guys. And when Dallas knocked off Pittsburgh and clean cut Tom Landry, that's where it started. That's where it started. And then Jerry Jones took over and it just went all to crap. Jerry had a dynasty and he blew it up because of his own ego. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Yeah, you're right. It was the Troy Aikman era, but you also got to think of it like this. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Larry Allen, that team happened when ESPN had just became ESPN, when highlights became a thing. So that has a lot to do with it. That has a whole lot to do with it. So right place, right time. They were the team that was hot at that particular time. And, Brandon works. And they had to brand that star on the helmet, man. But guess what? They watch it from home this week. So it is what it is. But in any case, we're going to get it done. We got a lot of work to do. I trust we have the game plan to make it happen. And they're going to make it happen. So, got all the faith in the world. As long as we don't do nothing stupid, shoot ourselves in the foot, stuff like that. And I don't expect that we would do that. I expect the Eagles to come out on top. I'm predicting like 27-17. And I'm saying 27 because I'm thinking it's going to be a one-score game. It's going to be like 24-17 17, and then we're going to make something happen, get the ball back, and kick a field goal to take it out of reach. So it's going to be a close game. But I think the Eagles are going to take it 27-17. I think somebody in our secondary is going to have a pick. I do think we're going to get a forced fumble, but I think Josh Sweat is going to be that dude this week. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to throw the ball all over the place. So let's get ready to go. Get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be a heavyweight bout. And you know what? I hope we just run away with it. I hope we do. I hope we leave no doubt who the better team was, so we can stop all of this madness and get to where we need to get to. All right? So I will see you guys Sunday. Check me out, because I will be doing Facebook Live halftime. And you know how I do with my thoughts. So make sure you stay tuned to my Facebook group. If you haven't done it already, please smash that like button. All right? You can also catch me on my personal YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ProFanTalk. I'd love to see you there. Going to have some more film study and things like that going on until the game on Sunday. But let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Y'all enjoy the game. Go Birds. I'm out.